So, the last lesson in the living spaces unit is about the future. Can living spaces ever be truly sustainable? Again, I know I go over this all the time, but it will come up in numerous places in your exam. What do we mean by sustainable? Remember, no environmental harm. It's long lasting, particularly the wording. It's good for future generations. It meets the needs of today without harming that. Socially, it's good. There's no bad stuff, no negatives for people or communities, and also it's good economic in terms of whatever you're doing is good value, but it's also good for jobs and employment and things like that. This picture here sums up quite nicely what the situation has got like in a lot of urban areas. That obviously is not a sustainable solution to living spaces and the demand for living spaces. This picture here is not the sort of situation that a person could live in for an extended period of time. So we need some sort of way of figuring it out, some sort of way of looking to the future. Now, we looked at three examples. Firstly, we looked at Shanghai in China. Some of its solutions to those urban problems are high-rise roads, for instance, so stacking roads on top of each other to deal with the traffic. Designing more green space and putting it into the urban area, keeping some buildings small on purpose so that it doesn't encourage a growth of people. But relocation was one of the big things that they're doing in Shanghai, basically just moving people out of the cities. Now, these solutions certainly aren't sustainable. High-rise roads just encourages more traffic into the urban area. So in terms of sustainability, that's not really always going to be a viable option. Let's take Tokyo as our second example. 13 million people just in the city centre, 30 million as a whole. One of the biggest cities in the world, so it obviously has its challenges. Now, Japan is thinking very differently from China. Japan is thinking underground, Alice cities. Why are they called Alice cities? I'm not entirely sure. Nothing to do with our Alice, of course, but it might be an idea. It might have something to do with Alice in Wonderland and going down the rabbit hole or something. I don't know. But basically, it's not even a plan. It's an idea to build cities underground, to put the offices, the retail, the residential, all that sort of stuff underground. The transport links, the trains, I mean, we already have underground transport systems now, obviously. But Alice cities take it a little bit further. And up on the top, on the surface, it's kept green, it's kept open, it's kept natural for people's enjoyment. Now, whether this is a viable solution or not is open to a lot of debate. But this might be a good example for you to come up with an argument as to whether it's sustainable or not. Again, just going back to those key points there about sustainability. Well, tick those off. You know, does this solution, is it good for people? Is it economically good? Is it environmentally good? So on and so forth. Our final example of a sustainable living space is here, Ecovia in Brazil. Basically an ecological village. 28 families live there, and in terms of sustainability, well, it ticks a lot of boxes. It only uses solar panels, only uses local products. It reuses things like its sewage in terms of fertilizer and growing its own crops and stuff like that. So in terms of sustainability and being good for the environment, then this is an excellent example. So just maybe do a little bit more research if you need to into these three examples and be prepared to use at least one of them in the exam. I would not be surprised at all if a 4-mark question came up in the exam about how can we make living spaces more sustainable, for instance? So this might be one of the three options that you could speak about in your answer to that question.